This is another segment of Before the Glory, and tonight in November 2014, while everyone else is cold up in the Northeast, we are down here in Largo, Florida with former big league catcher Bill Nahorodny, who happens to be, without a doubt, from my childhood, my favorite player, and he knows it because I've been telling him for decades. So it's honestly, rather than just another segment, it's a pleasure, because he was the toughest guy that I ever saw play the game, but when it came time to be off the field, he was absolutely the funnest to be around. Naha, it's good to be here in your living room.
Oh, it's always nice to be with you, Billy. You're a trip.
My first question is, we're down here, both of us northern boys are down here in Florida, and you grew up in the north, not the northeast, but share with the folks where you grew up.
A place called Hamtramck, Michigan. Mainly a Polish community at that time. Great place to grow up. Tremendous baseball program, all the way from Little League, T-ball, all the way up to the American Legion ball, Pony League, Colt League, and finally high school. It's a great place to grow up at the time, and I couldn't have grown up in a better era too.
We talked about things with your family. Small family, not much different than mine. It's me and my sister, my parents. Same thing with you, only your mom and dad, and then you have a younger sister.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not like just a year or two younger. She's like 4 or 5 years younger.
Yeah, 5 years younger than me. And,
so you were the oldest.
I was the oldest.
And there's a million ways to refer to it, but you can say that you had humble beginnings.
Yeah, I would say so. But you know what? I didn't have everything I wanted, but I had everything I needed. My parents took really good care of me. By the way, my dad was 5'7", my mom was 5'6", my sister's 5'2", and I'm 6'2", you know. So, and I look just like my dad when I look in the mirror now, really? Being older, yeah. So,
what did this town? How big was the town you grew up in?
2 miles square, right in the dead center of Detroit.
So the town we're referring to is a portion of Detroit.
Oh yeah.
See, I don't know that.
In that little city, of course, myself, Pinky Darris, Ike Blessed, Rudy Tomjanovich,
sure,
John Chitzkowski. Oh God, there was so many ball players I couldn't even start.
That came out of just your little area.
In my era, Tom Paciorek.
Paciorek is from, well, that's 3 brothers. All 3 of the Pacioreks
exactly
made it to the big leagues.
Yes,
I did not know Paciorek.
Oh yeah, they're all from my community, my little 2 mile square town. The program was amazing. Obviously the food, and the Polish food was amazing at the time too, to grow us like this, you know.
Describe your house. Was it a 2-story house? Was it a row house?
It was a small house. First of all, we rented for a long time.
Right.
And that was a funny story. We got thrown out of one. My dad worked hard, always paid his rent and everything.
Right.
But when nobody was home, I would sit on the floor and I would hit marbles with a pencil. Boom, boom. Well, the marbles would hit the wall. I'm a little kid, you know. I didn't even think about that. I'm thinking I blasted a home run, you know. But I left dents in there. Well, the landlord come down and said, "You're gone." So he ejected my dad. So we bought our first home, you know, and it was a smaller home, you know, and it was a 1-story, no basement or anything.
So you're telling me your dad comes home from work on a given day?
And you're gone.
You're thrown out because you hit marbles.
I hit marbles and pencil, and I did it for weeks, and there was like 100,000 holes in the side of the wall.
Of course, because you're a maniac.
I'm crashing it, man. Boom, boom. And it was a real thrill when you break the pencil with the marble, you know, broken bat, you know. So I was a little kid. I was having fun. I figured if I can hit a marble with a pencil, I sure can hit a baseball.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, it led to a good future. So, with Pop working hard, did he work for the city of Detroit?
Yes, he was a garbage man for the city of Detroit, and.
Yeah, that's tough work.
Oh, back then they didn't have the garbage can to lift himself either. He'd come home so sore. They'd grab those big garbage cans and he'd have to throw them up to the truck. And there's a story about how strong my dad was. There was a guy that just started, and he was cleaning out the truck. Well, he had a piece of wood with a big old door, like a 2-ton door.
Sure.
And the guy was working there. My dad says, "Don't do that," you know. Well, my dad happened to be walking up there, and the guy moved, and when he did, he hit that stick. And my dad caught that door, pulled the guy out, and all he had was a bruise on his forearm. He was a tough man.
Really?
Yeah, my dad was tough. One of the best boxers in Michigan at the time.
Your dad would put on the gloves?
Oh, he would never talk about it, but I opened the drawer, there's tons of gold gloves in there.
Really?
Yeah, he was a tough man. I guess everybody came over and says, your dad broke my nose. And they were proud, that's all he did, you know. So.
Well, it leads to a question. Everybody, I have, you know, I'm thinking as I asked the question to you, I remember Don Mattingly's answer. So I'll give you Don Mattingly's answer before I even ask you the question. Mattingly went out on a car date, so he took his girlfriend out. His dad said, be home at 11 o'clock. Whatever it was, Don got home at 5 after or 10 after. So for Mattingly's portion of the chapter, he said, that was the worst that I ever got from my father. And that was when I was in my late teens, and he was letting me know, guess what, you're never going to be too old, right, to even attempt to think you're going to disrespect the rules of this household. But he got a good one there. So I say, do you have, I mean, if you're saying your dad's tough, your dad's small, your dad breaks noses, you're a boy, right?
Yep.
Do you remember the worst you ever got? Did you ever get yourself a good whipping?
Honestly, I'm not saying this I was a clean kid. All I wanted to do was ever play baseball.
Really?
Oh, I never
can't
got
say that.
any trouble. I never got in really much trouble at all. I can remember one time, my mom cut her finger on a tuna can.
Right.
And I went to the ice skating rink because I worked for 25 cents an hour. I worked in the skating rink, you know.
Did you?
Yeah, so after, you know, it was getting finished, and I had a friend that I was going to drive home because I was 16. I had a car. I drove, you know, drove him home. And my dad told me he stopped at the skating rink. Why he didn't take my mom to the hospital, I don't know. But he told me, you get your butt home right now. And he says, take your mom to the hospital.
Okay.
So I says, okay, Dad. And so I took the kid home first. He says, where'd you go? It took you too long. I said, I had to take the kid home. He says, take your mom to the hospital. Lost the keys for 3 weeks, you know. Where to go, you know, in the room.
You paid the price by not getting a whooping, but you...
Oh, no, I was more tortured.
Well, give me, when you were in middle school, in 9th and 10th grade, before it got to be too late in high school, baseball's an obvious. Did you play any other sports besides baseball?
Yes, I was, I think, varsity baseball 4 years, all conference.
Right.
Then I played basketball, and I was team captain 1 year and assistant team captain 1 year, and made, I think, all-state or second team all-state in basketball in Detroit.
What position? I mean, I'm looking at you. Go ahead.
I was a forward. I would block out. I would jump.
You would hurt people.
They would
Bill.
bring the ball down. They were stupid. They'd jump up and take the ball, and when they get the ball, I wait for them to come down a bit and just snatch that sucker away, you know. And then I'd drive the baseline, you know, behind the basket, in the front of the basket, or I'd shoot from the corners and top of the key.
Right.
And I'd average like 18, 20 points a game. You know, just it wasn't that hard, you know.
So
they were young kids.
Yeah, well, you were young too.
Yeah, but all I did was 3 things and just beat them up.
School, for high school and classes and grades and subjects, were you an average student? Were you above average? Were you below average?
I was an average student. I got B's and C's, occasional D, which I'd hear about, you know. I studied and stuff, but it wasn't a question of studying or desire.
Right.
Just thought a little different than people, you know.
That's why we're here.
Like, why does this work? Why do you want me to do this? And I had a little bit trouble when people couldn't answer the way I thought, you know.
Right.
And I did pretty good. I was top 3% in the country in the ACT or ACT test, or
right.
SATs or whatever they call
sure.
it. Yeah, in all 3 categories. So I did pretty good. I just thought different than other people.
Yeah, well, that's called, the term for it now is called out of the box.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
So I have great respect for out of the box. Yes, that's, if you don't think out of the box, then new inventions don't get made.
That's true.
So that's the only way things get invented, is by thinking out of the box. So I'll take that answer. Did you, going into your junior or senior year, think, I'm going to work for the city of Detroit, I'm going to go to college? Did you have any thoughts in your head? Because it is, I moved up to junior, senior.
I wanted to play baseball since I was 3 years old. I was on my first team at 4, and that's all I wanted to do. But I also thought to myself, if I'm not going to play baseball, what if something happens, I get hurt, car accident, I don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
I wanted to be a gym teacher.
Did you
Physical
really?
education teacher. And that's what I went to junior college for.
So you knew that your backup plan was going into education, which, by the way, when I was at that point in high school, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So you at least got an answer. You said that you worked at the skating rink for 25 cents an hour.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I was a little kid. I was checking tags, breaking up fights, and they called me in the middle of the night and shovel snow because it'd be snowing. So I'd walk all the way 2 miles or whatever from one side of the city to the other, get those snow shovels and just snow shovel.
For a quarter an hour?
Quarter an hour, man. And they took taxes out. So, yeah, here I'd shovel. And being a little kid, being like, oh, man, 9, 10, 11, I'm thinking to myself, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger. I can do this. I can do this. And you look, you get halfway through, and you turn around and look, and more snow fell. Can you believe that? You know, so the snow
is coming up
again. Yeah. So I'd shovel it, get done, shovel it, get done. And then finally, you know, I'd call them up. I said, it's all shoveled, but it's still snowing. It's okay, go home.
What was the next job like when you were, you know, you're getting older? You had to have other jobs when you were a kid or in high school. What did you do to keep money in your pocket?
I really didn't. I played baseball morning till night.
Did you really?
And then I'd get in the gym, and I'd put the weight-based vest on, and the ankle brace on, and I'd run the steps in the back of the gym all the way up, around, down, around the gym, back up. And then I'd play basketball with the high school. I mean, with the Boy Scouts, the police, fire department, VFW, you know, and I'd play till 8, 9 o'clock at night. I'd jump in their swimming pool there, swim. When I got cramps, it was time to go home. And I'd walk home, 30 below, 20 below. Boogers are full of ice. Everything's full of ice. And I knew what I wanted to be. And I knew I didn't have the best talent in the whole world.
Right.
But I knew I was going to be the fastest, the strongest. And
when you graduated from high school, what was your height? I mean, what was your height and weight? You weren't the biggest guy in the class.
I was 6'2", probably 210.
Were you really? Now, I looked at those pictures.
I was 6 feet tall, 205 when I was 12, hitting the ball 400 feet. So I knew I was going to play baseball.